Am I the a-hole for reporting my coworker after she kept taking credit for my work and then told everyone I was obsessed with her? I, 29 female, work in a mid-sized office where teamwork is heavily emphasized. After a year ago, a new coworker, Lena, 26 female, joined my department. From the start, she was very friendly, very loud, and very good at talking herself up. At first, I thought we'd work well together. We were assigned to the same projects, and I usually handled the actual research and execution while she presented the results to management. I didn't mind at first because I figured credit would naturally be shared. Well, wait, what did she actually do then? Anyway, it wasn't. During meetings, Lena started saying things like, I came up with this approach, or I decided we should pivot here, even when those were literally my ideas pulled straight from documents I wrote. Once our manager complimented her strategy, and she just smiled and said, thanks, I worked really hard on it. I was sitting right there. I pulled her aside privately and told her I felt uncomfortable with how she was presenting our work. She laughed and said I was reading too much into it and that everyone knows it's a team effort. After that conversation, things got worse. She started excluding me from emails, scheduling meetings without me, and then asking why I wasn't involved. She also told other coworkers I was hyper-fixated on competing with her and that I had a problem with women supporting women. The breaking point came when my manager asked why I hadn't contributed much lately and referenced a report I had written that Lena submitted under her name. I forwarded the original document history, emails, and timestamps to HR and my manager. HR opened an investigation. Now Lena is furious. She's telling people I tried to sabotage her career because I'm insecure, and some coworkers say I should have just handled it like an adult instead of going to HR. Management moved me to a different team while they sort things out, which feels like a punishment. I feel justified, but now the office is tense and I'm being labeled as dramatic. Am I the a-hole for reporting my coworker instead of just letting it go? Well, first of all, unless it wasn't articulated well in the story, it doesn't sound like your coworker is doing a whole lot of anything that has to do with work. If you're doing the research and execution, and she's simply responsible for presenting it to the team and to management, that already doesn't really make any sense unless there's something I'm missing there. As far as your coworkers looking down on you and trying to tell you that you should be acting like an adult, that makes zero sense, especially since you were able to prove what you were actually doing through timestamps and document history and things like that. I'm not really sure why the OP is being treated like the antagonist, but there's actually an update. So let's read through the update and see where this goes, because something isn't adding up here, so maybe we fill in some missing details or something to help make sense of this. The day after HR started the investigation, my manager called me into a meeting with HR present. They had reviewed document histories, email threads, and internal chat logs. It turns out this wasn't just happening to me. Two other coworkers had reported similar issues with Lena, but neither had enough proof at the time to move forward. Here's the kicker. HR discovered Lena had been renaming files and resubmitting shared documents under her own account before deadlines, making it look like she was the primary contributor. There were also Slack messages where she told one coworker to stay quiet so management wouldn't get confused about ownership. HR determined that her behavior violated company policy. Lena was given two options: accept a formal written warning, mandatory ethics training, and lose eligibility for promotion for a year, or resign quietly. She chose to resign. After that, things got awkward in a different way. Some coworkers suddenly started apologizing to me, saying they always suspected something was off. Others still acting cold, probably because they were with her or didn't like that HR got involved. Management apologized to me for moving me off the team and admitted it was meant to reduce tension, not punish me. I've since been placed back on my original projects and was asked to present my own work directly going forward. The biggest surprise: My manager told me the investigation actually helped clarify how much I had been contributing. I was just approved for a performance bonus that I didn't even know was on the table. So yeah, the office is still adjusting, but I don't regret reporting it. If anything, I wish I documented things sooner instead of doubting myself. Thanks to everyone who told me I wasn't crazy for standing up for myself. Well, what a wild turn of events. And I hate to say that it's actually kind of surprising because it didn't seem like things were actually leaning in that direction because the OP was really being treated like the antagonist for no reason. And she's just lucky that she has the know-how to be able to show and prove her work, because I don't know how some people are so good at being lazy instead of just actually pulling their own weight. Because Lena was working very hard to make it look like she was doing all of the work instead of actually working, which in a weird way is kind of like living a double life, right? Because you're having to cover your tracks. Eventually, when screenshots of messages get shared and people are able to prove that a document was created and shared with you before you had a document that you put your name on to try to make it look like you made it. I don't know how people think that they're going to get away with this. And it makes me wonder, because Lena is 26 years old. So how much work experience do we have like this, where we've somehow managed to get by essentially stepping on toes and making it look like you're doing all of the work in a weird, crafty way? It's just crazy that she lasted a year, but I can definitely think about a few coworkers that I've had over the years who everybody knows that they're just like not pulling their weight and they're somehow just playing the game in a weird way to get by, and management is just like completely oblivious. And every single time you think to yourself, how is this person still employed? Like, I know I'm doing at least twice as much as they are, and yet here we are, both still employed. And then people wonder why people talk about quiet quitting and people deciding to not go above and beyond, because who's really getting rewarded for this behavior when there's some people that go above and beyond, and then there's others who barely do anything, and you're both probably making the same amount of money and both getting the same treatment. Or really, I can't even say same treatment, because the one who's barely skating by is somehow able to twiddle their thumbs while you do more work. But that's a whole rant for another day, right? Quiet quitting is really just like establishing your real worth, right? But we could go on forever about that subject. At the end of the day, I'm glad this all ended the way that it should have, and hopefully everybody learned something in this situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.